Hi everyone, and welcome back to Chromatic Knits. My name is Michelle and I'm coming to you from Arkansas. Today is Sunday, August 22nd, and I'm joined here today by my puppy Aria. She's a sweet girl. So in case you hear her running around, she is 8 months old, so she's still got a lot of puppy energy. She's very sweet. And my kitten Nugget is here too. I don't know if he'll be saying hello or not though, because you know, cats. Nuggy. And he's under the bed. Okay, so maybe we'll see him later. Anyway, he's a black American short hair cat. So they play together like siblings, so you never know what kind of chaos will happen. But it's so great to see you. I'm so glad that you came back. And if you're new here, welcome. Love having you here. So I wanted to start out with a couple administrative things, and then we'll get into the knitting. So first thing, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who commented on the last video. I love reading your comments. Please continue to comment. I love reading them, like I said. It makes me so happy when I see them down there. And I wanted to continue having that conversation by starting a make-along. So this make-along, so there will be prizes at the end of the make-along. And basically how it will work is it's going to be a finish it make-along is what we're going to call it. So a finish it make-along is for anything that you're currently working on, anything that's sitting in the UFO pile. The only rules are that it cannot be more than 50% done. So whips are allowed, but it cannot be more than 50% done. So if it's a pair of socks, there must be at least one complete sock that's not done. And then the mal will end at the end of September, so on September 30th. So we've got a little bit over a month to complete whatever you're working on. And then it can be any craft. So it can be crochet, it can be needlepoint, it can be knitting, doesn't matter. Any craft. And for every UFO you submit, you get one entry. Okay? So you can submit more than one. I have created a Ravelry group for our podcast called the Chromatic Knits podcast, and I've started a thread for the make-along. So you can go in there and you can chat and you can post your finished objects. However, you are not using Ravelry for various reasons, things that are going on with the viewer quality on Ravelry, we're going to be using the hashtag finishitmal on Instagram. So you can post there as well. And I will be putting those on the list as well for prizes. So you can put it whichever of those two you feel most comfortable. And like I said, I will be giving out prizes at the end of September. So feel free to enter as many times as you like. So that's really exciting. Be working on something, and I wanted it to end before October because this year I am doing the Stephen West mystery shawl make-along. I'm gonna do it. I've never done it before, but this year I want to do it. So I want to make sure that the things that I'm working on are off the needles and out of the way before the Stephen West knit along. So if you're like me and you want to get those things off the needles to clear them off before that happens, please feel free to join. I would love to have you. All right, so this week knitting, I have no FOs. Yeah, I know, sorry. Wah, wah, wah. Another week of no FOs, but I've been working on some things. So hopefully I will have some FOs next time. So the whip that is closest to being done are my shark mittens. So I finished the finger decreases on the first mitten. So I finished the finger decreases, have the top of the mitten, and I just have the thumb left to do. So in this pattern, you cut out, so you put in waste yarn, and then you cut it out, and you pick up the stitches above and below it and make the thumb that way. So I need to do that. And then I started the other mitten and am a little bit short of halfway done, but I have a whole shark and a half. So I have 2 more sharks to do on top, and then I have the finger decreases to do. So that's coming along. Again, that's the Shark Mittens pattern by Spilly Jane Knits. This was a kit from Jimmy Bean's Wool using Madeline Tosh Euro Sock in the Nesso and the Turn colorways. So that is coming along. That is my first Christmas knitting that I've been working on, so that's going to be a Christmas present. Next, I have started, so why would I finish what I started last time? Why? So I started, one of my friends is pregnant and is going to be having her baby in January, but that's so close to Christmas knitting that, and because we're going to be having the baby shower before January, so I started a baby blanket for her. So this is using Lion Brand's Pound of Love acrylic yarn from Joann's probably, in a navy blue colorway. They don't know the gender of the baby, and they don't want to know, and they have a very classic color palette, let's say, in their house. So I thought that this would be a good idea for them, and it works for girls and boys. This is the woodcut blanket pattern by Pearl Soho, and basically what it is a series of parallelograms. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but you see that, and then it kind of goes down right there. Yeah, so it's a series of parallelograms throughout the blanket. I am doing there's 2 different sizes. There's a throw blanket size, and then there is a crib blanket size. I'm doing the crib blanket size for that, and that is on size 7 needles, which is 4.5 millimeters. And these are actually, I got these free from Knit Picks. They were like a try our needles kit thing that came with one of my orders, and basically it had size 7 deep, like it had size 7 their nickel plated, and then it had size 6 of their wood needles, and then it gave you 2 different cables. So luckily this was the right needles and the right cable, because my size 7 needles are currently being used elsewhere, which we will get to that point. But yeah, so that is what's going on in there. This is just a bag from Yarnatopia. There she is. Hi, little girl. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Yeah? Hi. That was perfect, little girl. That was perfect. You're so sweet. You're such a sweet girl. I know. I know. You're so sweet. I know. I know. Don't eat my hair. You're so sweet. Okay. Yeah, so if you see white hair on my shirt, it's all from her. She needs constant attention. Okay, so another thing that I worked on my Rosy Bloom shawl by Stephen West. I started working on this and then I was like, this is for me, so maybe we should not do this and work on something else. So I started right there, and I've worked up about an inch and a half. Dropped a stitch marker. So that is still getting worked on, but it's kind of starting to take a back seat to Christmas knitting. Again, this is using a West wool kit from Stephen West, using Hedgehog Fibers Alpaca Cloud and West wool wool in their DK, I believe. It's on one of my previous videos if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I'm still loving that. It's a lot of garter stitch and a lot of like slip stitch kind of patterning. So it's really good. Highly recommend. Hopefully that will be done soon. And then I did one row on my my Slipstravaganza blanket, but it's not enough to show. It's just starting the next honeycomb. So after I finish the next honeycomb, I'll show that one. Again, I started working on it and was like, what am I doing? This is for me. I can work on this anytime. I want to work on my Christmas knitting so that it doesn't stress me out. So, all right. And then my last knitting that I'm working on is I started the Danny Boy cardigan. This was a pattern on Knit Picks website. It is by, let's see, Stacy Gerbman, and I'm knitting it on Knit Picks City Tweed in their Aran weight, and this is the colorway Orca. So this pattern, you need both size 9 needles and size 7 needles. So you do the ribbing on 7s, and then once you get past the ribbing, you do the rest of the cardigan on 9s. So these are ChowGoo red lace, 40-inch cable, and I'm doing the size 44-inch. So this is going to be a present for my dad for Christmas. So working on that. This is my first cardigan ever, so I'm really excited to get working on that and get this done. So that is wonderful. And this I'm currently housing in this bag. I don't know who this is by. This is by the Bay Yarn Co. It's a little cinch bag, but it's gonna get too big eventually for this bag, so but this is just what I had handy at the time. So that is all the knitting that I have done this week, which in reality is a lot. It's just a lot on a bunch of different things. But I wanted to also look at I have some stash enhancement, and then I wanted to talk about some tools, some knitting tools, and things like stitch markers, progress keepers, that kind of thing, and go over, you know, what I use and what I like and what I don't like, those types of things. So let me grab my stash enhancement and we're back. So I have a few different things that came in. So this is from Lola Bean Yarn Co. This was a palette for her plummeting upward yes, her plummeting upward colorway, and then these are the colors that are in that colorway, if that makes sense. So these are the base 4 colors that are speckled in this colorway. So this is in sport weight on her, let's see, Canary Bean base, which is 100% superwash merino, and it's 328 yards for 100 grams. Now, I was thinking I might use this to make like a Stephen West type shawl or project, but if you have any ideas, let me know for this, because I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with this. So, you know, it's just one of those things when you buy yarn and you're like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to use this for, but I love it and I need it and I want it. And you have like 30 seconds to buy it before it's out, especially somebody like Lolo Bean Yarn Co. that sells out pretty quickly. So if you have any suggestions for that, I would greatly appreciate it. The next thing that I have is also Lolo Bean Yarn Co. So this is in her boho chic colorway, and this is her mohair. So I was thinking, so I love this colorway and I couldn't pass it up, but she had already sold out of all of her fingering and DK. And so all that was left was the mohair. And I was like, you know what? I have a bunch of Knit Picks Felici in their Bearer base. So I think I might mix that with this and make something. Not sure. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I only have 2 of these, and they are 459 yards per 50 grams. So altogether, it's like 918 yards. So if you can think of a project that is 918 yards and uses mohair with something else, held double with something else, let me know, because I would really love to hear about that. Yeah, I would love to hear about that. So please put it in the comments below. Again, one of those things that I was like, I love it, I must have it. And then I didn't really have an idea of what to do with it. I was like, oh no, that's how I have such a massive stash. Oops. Oh, the puppy is barking at something. Who knows? Okay, the next is, this is, again, I'm a Harry Potter nerd. This is Nicole C. Mendez yarn. She is from the UK, I believe. And this is Avada Kedavra is the colorway. It's a self-striping yarn. So it's like a bunch of different colors of greens in there. And this is really true to color now that I have this new ring light. So yeah, really loving this. Haven't used it yet, but it's super soft. It's 80% virgin wool, merino extra fine, 20% nylon, and her soft sock base. So this is super great. And then I am a patron of a homespun house on her Patreon. So if you are a patron of a homespun house and you haven't gotten your July Patreon yarn yet, look away. This is your warning to look away. So I have Harvest, which is the larger one, and then Bohemia, which is the mini. So basically altogether this is 70 grams, so you get a 60, so there's a certain tier where you get a sock set every month. So I got a 60 gram sock skein, and then a 10 gram mini to go with it. So it's like, well, I can make shorties. I haven't made socks for me yet. They definitely won't fit my partner. Even if I use the mini for cuffs, toes, and heels, definitely can't make a full set of socks with that. Their feet are too big. Her feet are too big. But I might try to make a set for me, especially maybe a shorty set with 60 grams, but we'll see. We'll see. Thinking of things, we'll see. And then, if you are, again, warning, if you get the Harry Potter Yarn Club from Forbidden Fiber Co. every month, this is the most recent one for August. It's Wolf's Bane. It's a nice purple color, all different purples in there. It's really pretty. It's based on the Wolf's Bane plant. So they always give you like the inspiration picture. You can even see that through the plastic. But I can see that being, you know, an awesome pair of socks or a scarf, something along those, or not a scarf, a hat, something along those lines. And then I got a skein of Pretty Little Twisted Yarns, Zombie Apocalypse. This is in her Endure base. So this is an 80/20 high twist BFL nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams, 2-ply fingering. So get some socks out of that maybe. Just loving all the colors in there. Love the neons. I don't really have anything that's neon, or I've never made myself socks, let alone self-striping, and I've never made self-striping socks before. So it has all so these colors, the bright colors on the out that you see, are also speckled in the gray. So it's very bright and vibrant and very, you know, just very happy, very zombie apocalypse, but like very, very bright and cheery to me. So I'm loving that. So that is my stash enhancement for this week. I am officially on a yarn diet. No more yarn for me. I mean, let's face it, less yarn for me. But yeah. Oh, bless me. Oh, excuse me. All right. So I wanted to talk about some of the progress keepers and stitch markers that I use. So sometimes I use circular stitch markers, like the one that I have on here. So just like a little circle one. So I like to use white ones when I'm using color so that they kind of stand out. But for the most part, because I find that having colored circles, like inevitably I will have a project that is that color. So instead of doing that, I like to use the wooden ones. So these are the wooden dangle ones. Just like this. So it's just like a little loop with a little circle with something written on it. I have a bunch of different ones. I have some, like this one says Mr. Darcy. It's a Pride and Prejudice themed one. This is I get from A Needle Runs Through It. I have Harry Potter ones. I have Not Safe for Work ones. I have some like knitting ones that are specific to knitting, but I keep them in this little circular canister holder. So basically I have 2 tiers of the wooden stitch markers, and then I have progress keepers. So I usually just pull out whatever I need from this, put it in the project bag, or get them on the needles if I need to place stitch markers, and then I'm good to go. And then I just put them back in here when I'm done. And then as far as progress keepers go, so this one I just got that came with that yarn. This is from Chromatic Yarns. Normally I don't get metal ones, normally I get like the clay ones, but this one's awesome, Slytherin. And then the other ones that I have are also nerdy themed. So I've got like pumpkin juice, and got Crookshanks on a book. And this one I got from, those two are from Simply Serving. This is from Simply Serving. It's a chocolate frog that I got with one of Molly of Homespun Houses. She did like a back to school, back to Hogwarts knit set with a progress keeper, a Dobby. Those 3 just came, the pumpkin juice, the Crookshanks, and the Dobby. It was a Harry Potter themed we have. I'm gonna have a penguin because I love penguins. Love penguins. Got a little snowball. But then I also have the child and a Yeti, which I found this company, which I will link below because I can't think of the name of it right now. And I was in a sorority in college called Zeta to Alpha. I don't know if there are any other Zetas out there, but hi, Zeta love. But one of our symbols is a strawberry. So when I saw the strawberry, especially that little white flower, I was like, and that is mine. But personally, I prefer the lobster claw. I find that the rings that you can get, the little like pull rings that you can get, they tend to come undone and they tend to get kind of stuck in my yarn as well. The lobster claws, I find that they're just more secure than the other ones. And there are some people that love the lever backs, that like they say that the lever backs like are the best thing that ever happened to them. And I totally get that because different things work for different people. But personally for me, I can't use them. I don't know why, I just can't. They just don't work for me. So those are the main kind of stitch markers and progress keepers that I keep, mostly because they're pretty, but also because they serve a purpose and because I use them on my projects, especially now that I'm doing a podcast. So now I can show my progress because I'm not going to remember what row I was on. Who's going to remember that? I'm not going to remember that. So that is pretty much what's going on as far as knitting goes. The next things that I'm planning on casting on are my my Hoki Locatelli's long summer cardigan. Now that I have the yarn for that. And then one of my goals for Christmas knitting is to make Christmas socks for my family, as in my parents, my girlfriend, and then her family. Make everybody Christmas socks. So I need to get yarn for that. I know, I'm on a yarn diet. I just said that. But it's for Christmas. It doesn't count, right? Right? Just tell me it doesn't count. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to be slowing down the purchasing. I think I have some Christmas yarn, so I'm going to start using that first and then go from there for sure. So, but my goal, and maybe this year I just make them for my parents and Jess, my girlfriend, but who knows, maybe I won't. Other than that, those are my current goals and whips. I still have a night shift by Andrea Mowry to make for one of my best friends. That's still on the list. It'll be made very soon. I feel like, does anybody else have one of those lists where like you just think of all the things that you plan to make and you're like, yes, this will happen, and you just start making it and you're like, I'm never gonna make it through this list. That's kind of how it feels right now, but like we still have time for Christmas. We still have time, so it'll be okay. But yeah, so that's currently what I'm working on. As far as everything else goes, I have a new light here today. So excited about it. And I'm so excited that it works better than the lighting I had before. I hope that you guys think it looks better too. If you do or don't, please leave a comment below so that I can get some good feedback from what you think about watching it. It's very helpful for me and really helps me make adjustments to things as we go along. And I think that's about it. So I will see you next week. You have a wonderful week and happy knitting. Bye now.